Hi folks, thank you for tuning in to this really urgent video. I've been thinking a lot about all the false flag events that we've experienced over the past 3 years since I've been involved in this community. I have addressed the idea of apathy setting in when we tire of addressing what is coming that doesn't materialize, and I'll put a link to that video below. Here I'm going to give you specific ideas on how to prepare for various scenarios that may be on the horizon. We will address economic, social, geologic, astronomic, political, alien, meteorologic, electromagnetic, solar, and other events that threaten our livelihoods and life itself. This is not fear porn. It is a logical preservation of our lives. There are markers that warn of impending disasters, but that too is not fail-safe. Let me say it is easier to prepare for the unexpected or the expected, but it is so much easier if you and your family and loved ones are on the same page. I know a lot of you out there do not have support around you and are either thought to be crazy conspiracy theorists or religious fanatics when we talk about the possible coming events that threaten our lives. Know that you are not alone. There is a burgeoning community online that supports you. Find the community that corresponds to your ideology and mindset, and join chats and live streams and make connections that will offer you the support that you crave. Well, what seems to be emerging from our every corner of the world is the coming world economic collapse that might be as catastrophic or more so than the stock market crash of 1929. I'm far from an expert, but this is my summation. We have had an unprecedented bull market for the span of now 10 years. The Dow Jones average continues to skyrocket. There's always been a correction when this happens, and nobody seems to deny that that will happen sooner than later. In the past, the event that turns around an economic depression has been war. And keep in mind, this first scenario assumes the continuation of uninterrupted infrastructure. And the first scenario has this setting. Cost of goods skyrockets. Interest rates go off the charts. Housing market collapses. Unemployment soars. National and world monetary crisis sets in with devaluation of currency and the possible establishment of world currency or cryptocurrencies. And these all will happen when the economic bubble bursts. I'm going to outline measures that will help you and your family hedge the effect of these threats to your livelihood. Number 1, reduce your debt. Pay off your credit cards. Pay off your mortgages and loans. Get a second job if you need to. Move to a smaller house with lower monthly expenses, mortgages, taxes, and utilities. Plant a garden and fruit-bearing trees. Use water on edible plants and trees sparingly on decorative plants and lawns. Learn how to can and store edibles. Prepare your survival pantry with long shelf life goods, food, and water. Put together your first aid supplies, your medicines, vitamins, and supplements. Keep your gas tank filled and with extra gas cans full. purchase auxiliary lights and batteries, candles, and firewood. Everyone recommends buying precious metals, but I'm also encouraging you to invest in real estate while the rates are low and banks are still issuing mortgages. And while you have a job, keep some currency slush fund at home. Have bartering tools at hand, including essential goods and skills such as carpentry, medical expertise, herbalists, and sewing. With the threat of increasing cost of goods due to the effect of the new import tariffs that are already on the threshold of skyrocketing the costs of manufactured goods, this may also encroach into other areas of our economy. If you remember history, the stock market crash in 1929 was followed by the Dust Bowl in the 30s and World War II in the 40s. Talk about a 1, 2, 3 punch. Know that that could happen again. Okay, remember this first scenario assumes continuity of the infrastructure, including water, gas, sewer, trash removal, communication, electric power, transportation. But the next scenario will address events that will cause a breakdown of the infrastructures also. Many of these preparations overlap, but some will be specific to a particular event. The second scenario includes all of the above preparations with the addition of electric power. This could be a natural disaster such as a coronal mass ejection, comparable to the Carrington event in 1859 that would destroy the electric grid, or an intentional disruption of electric power distribution such as a nuclear attack of an electromagnetic pulse by an enemy. Now, in addition to all of the preparation points above, you will be without electric power, transportation, dependent on electricity or gasoline, and most forms of communication, including internet, telephones, and mass media. Here is a list of additional ways you can prepare for this scenario. Have ice on hand to preserve perishables. Ham radio training and hardware and a communications network. Shortwave radio and walkie-talkies. Solar-powered electric lighting and cooking utensils. Alternative energy generating equipment. Mechanical transportation devices such as bicycles, wagons. Alternative cooking equipment, including cast iron pots and pans. Water purification mechanisms, filters, pellets, etc. Buckets and materials to build troughs to carry water. A water source such as a deep well or moving stream or creek. Source of firewood with an axe and hatchet and saws. Should this scenario impact, communication will immediately be cut off. You and your loved ones will have to plan ahead where to meet. Now is when the village will help preserve life. I will put a link to my video entitled "It Takes a Village." I'll put that below. The third scenario includes a possible extinction level event, an ELE. Beyond the threat of a regional disaster such as wildfires, hurricanes, and tornadoes, lies the events affecting continents and the entire Earth, such as an asteroid hitting Earth, mega earthquakes with resulting tsunamis, or mega volcanoes that will put us into a solar winter affecting the entire Earth that can last years or decades, or even a geologic pole shift that may result from the incoming planetary objects that are thought to be encroaching into our inner solar system. Of course, everything mentioned up until now will be essential to survive an ELE catastrophic disaster. Plus, now the hopes of recovery are far distant. In this case, you will be on your own for years, if not decades. You will need a totally self-sustained village or encampment to survive. You may need security measures in place to guard against attack from others who are ill-prepared for surviving this threat. I encourage every one of you to get right with your God. Prepare your spiritual path above all. Of course, every one of these scenarios has the alternative course of action to go to a FEMA camp and expect to be taken care of. If you're not prepared, that may end up being your only alternative. We know such catastrophic events have happened in the past, and no doubt will happen in the future. So don't wait till the lights go out. Prepare now. May your God bless you and keep you safe. I am Natasha.